At this point, Cohen considers an objection to his argument that moral autonomy is the basis of the possession of rights. And the objection essentially states that there are genetic human beings, such as infants, coma patients, maybe some senile human beings, who, though human genetically, are not morally autonomous. These human beings lack moral autonomy in the same way that animals lack moral autonomy. And so the objector says, if animals do not possess rights because they lack moral autonomy, then these various human beings will also lack rights because they are not morally autonomous. This is absurd to say that infants, coma patients, and the senile do not have rights, according to the objector. And thus, as a result, Cohen's overall argument is absurd as well. Infants, comatose patients must have rights. In response, Carl Cohen essentially argues that it is not individual persons, individual human beings that warrant rights based on their individual capacities. Rather, it is the group of human beings as a whole that warrants the possession of rights for each individual member of that group. In other words, what I think Cohen is saying in response to this objection is that even though some individual humans may not currently possess moral autonomy, they are of a kind, they are of a species that can possess that capacity for moral autonomy. The ability of moral autonomy is a real possibility for any genetic human being. And as far as we can tell, it's not a real possibility for any other species. So even though some individual human beings may not be morally autonomous, they are members of a species, they are members of a group that can be morally autonomous. And the group, the species of human beings, is thus significantly different than other species. The Homo sapiens species has a capacity for moral autonomy that other species lack. So, human infants, comatose patients, the senile still possess rights because they are human beings, because they are of the species Homo sapien. Is Carl Cohen being speciesist? Would he say, yes, I'm a speciesist, or would he deny that he's a speciesist? I want you to consider that idea. That's one of the questions that will be posed and that you're able to answer on the discussion board. I think that's an interesting question. But to end this point, he will just say that there is a significant difference between the human species and other species, and that is why all humans possess rights and no other animals possess rights.